Good morning, guys. My name is Emily. I am here for a cross stitch update, and it's been 9, possibly 10 days since I last did one. It's now Friday, May the 17th. It's just after 8 o'clock in the morning. This is day 2 of me having 2 days off, so I'm doing quite well. We're having the random sunny days that we tend to get in May here in the UK, and yeah, it's beautiful. I've moved the camera a little bit this way today because I thought I could show you. The wisteria is in full bloom. There's a very mature wisteria growing over the arbour there. It's been here quite a long time. And some of my courgette plants are currently on the bird bath because an enormous slug, which I found and dispatched, ate completely off my baby pumpkin not last night but the night before last, and I was very sad. It was a very happy, very growing plant. So I planted 2 new seeds, and yeah, the slug got flung into the road and a seagull came down and took him, which pleased me greatly. Anyway, evil thing ate my pumpkin, the one that was going to make like that size pumpkins, baby pumpkins. Anyway, I'm still cross. I planted 2 new seeds. Hopefully another plant will come up quick enough for it to still be okay. Other than that, everything seems to be going okay, and my little plants are all coming along. By and by you'll see things growing up the side of my greenhouse here, but not just now because they're still only this big. And yeah, I'm here to show you my cross stitch actually. And well, you know when you think you haven't done very much in the week and you think, oh, I'm going to show them nothing. Well, actually, I've done quite a bit, I think, but I've only stitched on 3 pieces. I realised again, it's nearly the middle of the month and I have not stitched on my treasure hunt bookshelf at all. So since I do it every month, don't I? Every single month. My voice isn't right. I've been sick. Sorry, I probably should have led with that. It's still not right. My voice is still not good. I was full of cold, really like thick-headed. This is while I had all those lates last week. I had really thick head, and then I felt loads better, but my voice went. On Sunday I had no voice. I was off on Sunday and I could have recorded, but I had literally, I would have been squeaking at you. It would have been ridiculous. So I went a few more days and did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at work, all earlies. Of course, I've now adjusted to lates, so earlies made me super tired. Go figure. I whine about the lates and I'm exhausted when I get earlies again. Anyway, I've got a better balance coming up, so it should be all right for going forwards a little bit. But yeah, been looking a bit ropey tired. Do excuse me. Yesterday I was off. I had a lovely day. I'm filming early in the conservatory because I left it too late yesterday, and by about 2 o'clock it was too hot to be in here. It was just like a sauna, even with all the windows and doors open. I couldn't bear it. So I walked into the town, which literally takes about 5 minutes to walk down into the town. Went to the post office instead. So there is another little batch of Etsy orders on their way out. I'm still 5 or 6 outstanding, which hopefully I'll get off today. If not, I should get off on Saturday. So just the last few, mostly internationals, and I'll get them out. I'll get them out either this afternoon or tomorrow before I go to work. So there we go. That'll be me all up to date. I always do this. I've just looked over there and gone, oh, I need to show you those things over there. Anyway. So thank you to everybody who ordered my dragons. There are more dragons on the way. I've just been a little bit sick and a little bit sleepy, but there are currently, I think, half a dozen ready to go in the oven. And once I've finished recording here, I'm going to stitch for a bit, make for a bit, stitch for a bit, make for a bit, and then hopefully have another big batch ready. They sort of do their own thing, these little dragons, and I know I need to make blue and purple ones, and so far I've made granite ones and clear ones and pink ones, so I need to sit down move everything out of the way that isn't blue and purple and just concentrate on making blue and purple ones. I'm actually terrible at it, at just doing what I'm meant to do. Right, stitching, treasure hunt bookshelf. Last time I recorded, I had a little note that said it would be helpful if you showed your projects. I usually do, honestly. I usually put a picture up. Like, treasure hunt bookshelf will look like this in about 6 years. And I'm doing the supersized max colour version. It is absolutely enormous, and I figure it might have been a new subscriber that said it, because everyone who watches me knows I usually put a picture up. And because I stitch on the same projects every week, if you watch me well, it's been about 10 days, but every week normally, when I'm, you know, not in the middle of moving house and doing silly shifts. I mean, oh, come on, I've been doing silly shifts as long as you've known me, but you know what I mean. You know, it's the same regular projects. Anyway, so last time I recorded, it looked like this. I would think I was just moving the Q-snap up to work on the 823 up in the top leftish corner. And I have only put in 823. I haven't put in a lot. I'm just today I should tip below 10,000 823 stitches left, which really, I think that means I need to do another 3,000 or 4,000 stitches this month. Yes, I will do. I think I'm at the point, I'm just hovering around the 0.2 for the month, and I did most of that yesterday. So I need to get my skates on, because it is the 17th and I'm running out of days to actually get my stitches in for the month, which always happens, which means at the back end of the month I have to heavy load it onto the treasure hunt bookshelf to get them done. It's what happens. Never mind, we'll keep trucking. So it's at 20%, I'm heading to 21%, and this week it looks like this. So basically all I've done this week is fill in here. I'm nearly, I think the 823 runs to about here, and then there's a big bit up here to do, and then I can move down. I think the corner, nope, that's the wrong way. That's the corner going the wrong way. I think the corner, which is just right there, I think I've pretty much done the 823 in that corner. But yeah, so I dug out, this was one of my prototypes, and I found him as I was tidying out, and his magnet had come off, because I'm terrible with my projects. I don't put them in bags. I just chuck them any old place and things get caught and pulled. Anyway, his magnet had come off. This is one of my single colour thread drops, and you can see my problem here is I've got 3 colours on it. So I've got 310, 823 in the middle, and 939 here. And those are the 3 colours I'm allowing myself to use at the moment. Mostly I'm going to try to stick to 823 because I want to colour complete the 823. But if I can't reach it, if I can't reach the next batch, I'm going to see if I can get there with 310 or 939. So I'm sticking to the darks for now and leaving all the pretty colours until I have finished the 823. And then I will do I'll probably do 2 months of my normal, let's find something pretty, let's go and hunt a fox. Let's go and find a fox. And there's the fox. Let's do the suit of armour. There's my suit of armour. I can't even see if I had that in the window there. So that'll be, when I've done the 823, we're going to do something pretty. But here I have a single magnetic thread drop, and these are, I made these up. These are made from polymer clay, and they work as a needle minder. Obviously needle sticks to them too. There's a massive great magnet, well, there's 2 massive great magnets actually. There's a big magnet on the back of the thread drop, and then one of the bigger magnets that I normally put on the back of the needle minders. I've got a whole system of magnets. Honestly, I've got like a little skyline of magnets stuck on top of my metal needle minder in progress box, which is a metal tray system from IKEA. But I've got like a skyline of different size magnets all clipped onto each other. So these are a very big one with a big one, as opposed to my normal needle minders, which have a big one on the back and then a slightly slimmer one that goes against your work. Anyway, that's not important, is it? Anyway, they're very strong, is what I'm saying. They more than hold a handful of needles. And I thought, well, I want 3 colours on it, which has worked really well. And I've just put little jump rings between them. So my next batch, and I have a batch in the oven, not switched on, but baked. I'll explain that in a second. That'll get baked today when I've done some dragons. Have got 2 and 3 holes for 2 and 3 colour drops. Partly because I still have a tin full of these. I'll stop the video. Actually, I'll just pause the video now and do it so I can show you. Oh, there we go. That turns out I'm crap at pausing the video, and I just restarted anew. I just pressed stop. So I still have a tin full of single. Oh my god, there's probably, I make so much stuff and it never, you know, they do get finished, but there's handfuls and handfuls of these. See, these are for the single. These are for the single thread. So going with the smaller, I always try to pick the prettiest ones. You rat through them to find one you really like. They're like that. So they look like a sort of a cardboard thread drop, except they're polymer clay, so they're quite strong. They also are a little bit flexible, but they should be flexible because they once polymer clay is baked, it's, oh, there's a mistake. That one's got no holes in it. Neither has that one. Oh, there's some mistakes in here. Oh, I feel so sorry for them. What shall I do with them? I could maybe put something on and make them needle minders. Oh, but look at that one. That one's beautiful. Could I not decide which way round was right for that? But this is a perfect example to show you. I make them they're 2 thicknesses. So it's 2 bits of clay, which you burnish together. I had to explain burnishing to Richard last night, because you put the one layer, this comes out, you roll this in a pasta machine, so it's even and perfect. So you put the first layer on the, I use big glass sheets because I used to work in a place that had big glass sheets, so I might have harvested some offcuts at one time or the other, which have turned up marvellously. So I'm using those now for these big quantities of things. You put the first layer down, and then you put the second layer on top, and then you put a piece of like printer paper on it, and then you rub it, and it burnishes it. And not only does it give you a beautiful finish on top of your piece of your item, it also permanently makes the molecules join together with the pressure. It makes the molecules join together, so it's a double thickness. Not usually, I try and keep it the same kind of colour, but every now and again you get, this one is a mistake. See, I used to do the 2-hole so that the magnet sits flush. I've sacked that now and decided I don't mind having, because I think it's stronger having 2 thick layers at the magnet end. So the magnet's just going to go on and it'll stick out a little further, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, that's what, long story short, I still have a whole tin, a Christmas cookie tin full of those. So I didn't make any more of the single threads. I've made ones with 2 holes, and I've experimented with 3 holes because the holes need to be a little bit smaller, because I love the cutter. The cutter I mutilated. It's a circle cutter that I mutilated, so it's like a weighted teardrop. It's not like an egg. It's not even. It's not like an egg. It's like a weighted teardrop shape that I made, and I love it. It's just the perfect shape for what I was looking for. Couldn't find what I was looking for, so I made it up myself. And so the holes have to be smaller, and I don't know about the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my 3. I'm going to get it in use, and I'll let you know how it's going and whether it's going to break or whether it's going to be fine. Obviously, I'm not going to sell anything that I'm not happy with that's going to break, basically. So next week we'll have a different thread drop with 3 holes and my 3 colours, and I'll let you know how it's going. So, but anyway, those are the colours those are the colours. These beautiful bright colours here. These are the 3 that I'm limiting myself to for now, but really I'm only doing 823. See, all of this fill in here is 939. So yes, I could fill it all in and have a big chunk of stitching done with something in the middle here. Obviously there's something here and there's something there, but this is all background behind. But we'll see. I'll try and get my stitches in the 823. If I'm running shy on time, I'll switch to 310 or 939 and do a big bulk bit. So we'll see how I do. Should be about the end of the middle, hopefully not be the end of the month when I record next time. Might not be this good weather, but we'll see, because it is absolutely glorious. We only get a few weeks of glorious weather here in the UK, so yes. For these couple of weeks, out come the summer dresses, and we all wear nice summery things. So I apologise for my bare shoulders. Couldn't find my cardigan. It's a bit warm for my cardigan anyway. I'd have gone very rosy cheeked if I'd have had my cardi on while I recorded. Right, the other thing that I was going to grab to show you is these. Now, if you've been with me a long time, you'll remember these. The wooden thread drops. These were made by Robin for our Etsy shop. And of course, now that we are kaput, well, we've been kaput for years, but now that we are openly kaput, shall I say, I'm not pretending, I've found these when I'm getting ready to move, and he has no need for embroidery thread drops. So these are mine to do with as I choose, and these will be the last of the line going into the Etsy shop. A couple of them have the living edge on top, which, so I've got probably another 3 or 4 over there. There's some that are this long that I'm going to cut in half and make them a nice, these are smallish project thread drops. Anyway, just wanted to let you know, these are the last of these. I would obviously love at some point in time to be able to make these myself. But for the foreseeable, this is it, and I'm going to list them in Etsy. So if you want one of those, lots of people, I used to sell quite a lot of them, and lots of people remember them, and they work like any other thread drop. I have 2 myself. One of them is on my pointed 5th, so they work really well because they're wooden. They're really good. Anyway, pointed 5th is next. That was my link in through to pointed 5th, and I have finished this colour. I am now on this colour here, and there's a lot of this colour. This next colour here is 995, one of the very best DMC colours on the planet, bar none, in my opinion. Second only to 3808, which is also one of my favourite colours. So last week, my pointed 5th, picture of it coming up here, finished, or the one off the website. My pointed 5th looks nothing like that. But when does my long dog ever look like the picture? Anyway, last week when I showed you it looked like this, I was finishing up with, crikey, was I still on the darker blues? I can't remember now. I've just put the picture up, but obviously I'm inserting that afterwards. Anyway, I feel like I've done quite a bit. I'm well into the 52% now, so I've done at least, oh, it had just hit 50%, hadn't it? So I've done at least 2%, if not a little bit more. And this week, it looks like this. So, I'm really coming on. I finished all the blue pointy bits there, and I've done all the tops of these archways, and I've done the legs down until I got a little bit bored and decided I would just go along the bottom a bit more. So I've gone along the bottom a bit more, and I'm heading to the line. You can see my gridding lines. Now my gridding lines here are not standard gridding lines, obviously. These are for my colour changing. I'm only gridding where I need to change colours, and as you can see, I'm reusing my grid lines. There's no reason to. I've got 2 spools of this very, very fine Gutermann filament. Now this stuff, this Gutermann filament, you find when you go into your sewing shop, you know, where the sewing machine threads are, and your kids go brrr with the hands down them, and you go, don't touch them, you've got oily fingers, oh my god, you've just had an ice cream, stop touching the thread. You know, giving horror to every sewing person in the world as your kids are doing this, going, oh, it makes a really funny noise. And when it's your kids, you're embarrassed. When it's somebody else's kids doing it, you're like full of horror. Anyway, in that section, of the, there's cat hair. Nancy is shedding and she is a long-haired cat. There is cat fur everywhere. Luckily, I'm not allergic to Nancy specifically. Some cats I'm allergic to. The cats I live with, luckily I'm not allergic to. But that's the coffee machine just turning off. This is only my first coffee. I had a little snoozle in this morning, which for me was 8 o'clock. That is a late morning for me. Obviously, I woke up and got up for a minute when Richard went to work at 20 to 6. But he finishes at 1 today, so that's fine. Yeah, I was talking about cat fur. I was talking about the Gutermann thread. Yeah, so in there is the filaments. That's where you find them. And it's this slippery, slidey. And the first person who kind of explained this properly to me was Kim Hollenbach, who is the Spartan Stitcher, who does the most amazing pieces. And is back. Hi, Kim. She's back making videos again, which is just marvellous. It's just marvellous. You were very, very missed. I know she's been making videos for probably about a year now, but I've not got round to just saying hello again. Yeah, that is the marvellous stuff that I used to grid with. And all I'm doing is gridding my colour changes. So on this piece, I'm doing, to get the ombre effect, I'm blending. I'm just trying to find a really good place to show you. Probably here in these turquoises. So I'll do the chunk of stitching and then I'll do three rows where I use one strand of each colour and then go into the next colour, and then here in this section here is one strand of turquoise and one strand of the teal, and then the teal, and then the same again there. So you can see each section, that's the solid colour, and then the narrow band is the blend. This one you can really see clearly because it's going into a dark. So there's the blend, and then I'll go into a dark colour there. So that's how I've ombre'd it. And on the big scheme of things, hanging on the wall, it kind of does ombre. But I'm there. So I've still got half a piece to go. It will go all the way to the bottom of this fabric with the correct, it'll have about that much border, because this one I really carefully measured. And I actually cut my fabric and stitched my fabric and dyed my fabric, confident that it would fit. Now you can see I started wobbling because I started heading for the corner, but I'm pretty sure my border's good. Now I'm panicking again. I must not panic, I must keep on going. So this week, I'm going to have another week at this one. I was thinking it's time to switch it up, but every time I touch this piece, I have to keep stitching on it because I just love it so much. I've got a lot of 995 to do this week. All the rest of these legs and all of this bit here, which is mostly solid stitching, is all 995 down to this line here. So if I can get that bit done, get the 995 done, get this blend out of the way and get into this, I'm going to say it's the 3000 turquoise. It is 3844. It certainly is the 3000 turquoise. It's 3844 is my next one. Again, if you're new and you haven't seen my colours before, some of which I've completely used up, these can all go back on bobbins. They're all cut to length. It will be annoying, but these are all my favourite colours. Well, you know what I'll do next, guys? There we go. There's my decision made. In the moment, I will use up these into Treasure Hunt bookshelf because I am quite sure 718, 915, 3865, 3837, 791, 796 and 797 will be in the Treasure Hunt bookshelf. If they are, I will use up as much of this as I can. These are full skeins, or they were pretty much. So these ones here, I think it's these, are not needed for my pointed fifth. I just need to write down the whole loop so that I can pull it again if I ever decide to stitch birdies in the colourway that I was going to stitch birdies. Anyway, yeah, so if you haven't seen my colourway before, or how a better explanation of how I'm stitching my pointed fifth, there is a whole video on it down in my my videos. So you can go and see that if you want to see how I figured it all out. There's actually 2 videos about it. One right probably 3.5 years ago when I was literally dyeing the fabric and starting it. I was figuring it out, and then I made a video probably about 6 months ago explaining it again because I got asked. Every time I show it I get asked, basically, which is fine, absolutely fine. It's quite a different kind of way of doing it. I will do Saga the same, but as I said right at the beginning, I'm not starting Saga. I'm not going to figure Saga out until I have finished Pointed Fifth, and I'm only halfway through it. I'm only at 50%. I've got until next leap day to finish it. So Saga might be my next leap day start. We will see. Oh, my coffee is good. Coffee's going cold rapidly, but coffee is good. Right, so I'm going to keep on stitching this week, and hopefully get down into this colour band here, because what I want to do is have it even all the way across. That's what I did. I started this end and went sort of diagonally, not neatly, you know, just doing me, just neatly, and then I suddenly decided to start to finish this little bunny at this end and work down, and that's what I've done. I finished it. So we are finished to the things in the middles. So I've got, once I finish this turquoise, I could go back and do this. All the dark, anything inside is 823, another favourite of mine, but this is Etoile, so it's slightly sparkly. So anything within is 823, and yes, I'm also stitching on opalescent fabric. It was white, I dyed it baby pink, which actually came out a very nice colour. At the time I was slightly disappointed because it was such a baby pink colour. It really is like, oh, you've had a baby girl, congratulations, pink. It's but on balance it's perfect for the piece. Yeah, so gonna keep going on this, and I have no problem stitching opalescent on opalescent or with this. It's just really noisy. This is so noisy to stitch on. One of these days I will do some stitching on this and let you listen to how loud it is. It is, because I don't know how it's so loud. You can literally, it literally goes pop when you put the needle through, and it goes then it goes stab, and it goes pop, and then it goes it's bonkers. Nothing else I stitch on makes that noise. I think that's partly why I like it, because it's a bit more sensory. As I'm learning about myself at the grand old age of almost 48, I've clearly got a lot of sensory issues that I had no idea I've carried my whole life with me. But now, because my little boy has a lot of sensory issues, and the little girlie who lives here 3 days a week has got ADHD, I'm learning now a lot about it, and I'm realising that I've got a lot of sensory issues that I had no idea. We just managed it, you know, back in the 70s and early 80s. You just get on with things. Nowadays there's help available, and I'm not, you know, I don't think I'm diagnosable. I'd certainly never bother with that, but I'm just learning about myself, you know. And some things I've never been able to manage, and now I realise why I've never been able to manage them. Before I just thought it was just stuff I just couldn't do. But anyway, I'm off topic as usual. I think we're all on the spectrum, basically, somewhere. I think we all, well, that's why it's called a spectrum, isn't it? Because we all sit somewhere on it. Yeah. Anyway, last piece I'm going to show you, I made a mistake. I was stitching at work, I was not concentrating, and I've made a mistake. I have, yeah, and I'm starting to take it out. Is my Modern Folk embroidery. Here, I'm concentrating on May. In May, I might not get May done. I might have another little stab at doing it. I have my 2 skeins, my 155 and 333 I'm using on this gorgeous piece of Be Stitch Me Punch, which is fantastic. Absolutely beautifully fantastic fabric, and the 2 colours just said yes. They just said yes to me. So I picked it up at the beginning of May and thought, well, I'll see if I can stitch May. So here's where it was last time I recorded. I don't think it's changed very much because my two skeins of thread have wandered off in a bag somewhere. I've chucked them into a bag to take with me. Either the bag's tipped up in the car and they're in the footwell of my car, which is now clean and tidy. At least my car used to be one of those cars that when you open the door, like a tidal wave of litter came out of it. That no longer happens. I live with a normal human man who goes, "Your car is disgusting, I am cleaning it." And I go, "Thank you, that's brilliant." So my car is no longer disgusting, but they might be in the footwell of my car or in a bag somewhere. I'm one of these people that picks up a different bag every time they go out, and might be in my work bag, but I had a good rummage and I couldn't find them. But I've got a lot of till receipts in my work bag. If we buy anything at work, we have to have a valid receipt for it, just in case. So I retain everything because that's now told me that I can't throw any receipts away, just in case. So now I have a bag full of receipts. I'm going to fix that because it is actually very annoying. I can't find anything in my work bag other than till receipts. So you only need to keep the thing until you've actually like used it or eaten it, but you can't have stuff in the break room that's from the shop without a receipt, which is standard because, you know, stealing. So not that I think anybody I work with would ever do that. We're pretty straight down the line. Beside the point again. Oh, I'm beside the pointing today. Hello if you're new. I'm talking about stitching, but obviously I'm not. Right, anyway, so I'm here. So I don't think I've done very much. I think I've done a little bit of filling in here possibly, and possibly a few of these little dingle dangles, but maybe I haven't. My mistake I made is here. I came down the side and I jumped in and thought, because I had a strand of the 155 on my needle, I thought I'll just do a bit here, use up the thread I have. And of course I did it wrong. I'm one stitch too far that way, so I need to just take out this line of stitching, which I'm taking out backwards because I don't want to cut it down here because that's where it joins on to the next thing. So taking stitches out backwards, i.e. the bottom leg unpicks before the top leg, is annoying. Anyway, that's what I'm doing currently, is unpicking there, and then I'm going to have another little stab. So as it goes, I think this side here is done for me there, and then I need to do the other half of squirrel and the flowery bits up the side, and then of course I need to fill in the rest around this tree. So I don't know if I'll get it done in May, but a little stab and completed so far. That's going to fall. I have, so it'll be January, February and May. And look at these colours on this fabric. I know the sun's shining through it currently, but oh, isn't it lovely? I really love it. I mean, I love the pattern. I'm not on the fence with modern folk embroidery patterns. I really rate them. I really, really rate them. This is modern folk embroidery, by the way. It was the 2021 sal, which I buckled. I waited all the way until the end of September 2021 to buckle, when I started seeing people's nearly finished ones because they were keeping up with the sal. And I was going to stitch it on like a cream fabric with the two blues, so it looked like Dutch china. Yeah, I didn't do that. I went bananas colours. So there we go. Yeah, looking at that now, I'm going to put some stitches into that today for sure. I'm going to fix my mistake and put some stitches into that for sure. I can stitch on it here because all my threads are here, and I've got 155s and 333s everywhere. Right, so a couple more things to show. I think I've got, look, my key is just sitting here, my little dragon on his key, my inspirational piece. I haven't worked on him, still where I folded him up after my last father cat fur. It's everywhere. Like, honestly, I'm surprised you can even see me 2 foot away from me here with all the cat fur that's in this room. Oh, it's enough. She needs to shed, and I'm brushing her. Normally she didn't get like heavily groomed before, but I brush her, so it's a lot. So I want to keep trucking with the key, but life takes over. Oh no, I have another piece to show you sitting under there. Last time I recorded, I was going to get on with my mermaid and find the corner. Right, my mermaid is a Mandy Manzano piece that I bought from someone on Etsy who does still sell pieces. They are licensed. And finished, it will look like this. I will have to pull a picture from, I don't know where to show you this. Oh, I can get it from my my Whip Parade here. This is what it looks like finished. There are Mandy Manzano Hades now. They are tending to be the more religious ones as opposed to the more fantastical ones, although Wonderland is there. I almost wish it wasn't, because if I didn't have so many Hades, I'm looking, where have I put it? I would definitely get Wonderland and do it. And for my new subscribers who haven't met me before, this is Wonderland. This is what got me into cross stitch. This is a diamond painting. This needs framing. This is Wonderland, which obviously is the Alice in Wonderland. I have a slight thing about it. I've got a thing about Little Red Riding Hood and a thing about Alice in Wonderland. But this is not the full picture of Wonderland, but look at the colours. This obviously is a diamond painting. And when I was doing this is from Diamond Art Club. I got it from America. It was very expensive compared to the Amazon, you know, $5.99 diamond paintings. This was not. And it was amazing to do. And it is beautiful. And the colours in it are amazing. I love Mandy Manzano's artwork. And this is a Hade. And I must not buy it. There's just been a Hade sale and I had to sidestep the whole website because I don't need to be stitching this. I have a diamond painting of it. It's finished. It needs framing. It needs to be on the wall so we can see it. I need to not go on the website, especially when there's a sale. I have enough Hades. I need to get some things done. Anyway, my mermaid that I bought after I did that, but before Hade had signed up Mandy Manzano. This isn't one of her Hade ones. Yeah, there are some mermaids. There's a mummy and daughter mermaid, which is absolutely beautiful, but I think this one's Ariel. I call it Ariel anyway. So the last time I recorded it looked like this, and I had not picked it up for some time. I have put some colours into her skin. They were greens. This is the trust the process, put the green in the skin. She is a mermaid after all, and I put some greens in her skin. There's still some gaps in her face, which I will finish, but I did what I said and I found the corner. So now it looks like that. So this is the size it's going to be across the top. This is on 16 count gridded Aida. It is Zweigart. It's okay. Now the grids, I don't know why I'm bothering with gridded Aida. The grids are through a stitch, which confuses me no end. It really does. I can never remember whether it's that side of the stitch or the stitch is the start or it's that side of the... So what I've done, and what I did originally, I believe, but it obviously with time has worn off, is use my pen and I've gridded the grid. So I know my turquoise lines are the actual edges of my 10 by 10 blocks. So anything within my Q-snap, I've gridded the grid. So all I've done along here is I've put in 310 from really the side of her head. I've put in the 310 along the top and I've put in the 939. So all of this down here, down this line, which is the edge, is 310. So I can fill any of that in at my leisure. And I've currently got 939 joined on. So I've gone all the way along the top and I've come down a little bit. So I've done quite a bit on that. I think I've done 2 or 3%. But after I recorded last time, I just sat and stitched on this probably for the rest of the day, you know, while I had stitchy time. I've got a little 310 block there that I really need to fill in as well. So I can just get on with this. I'm going to put a few more stitches into this. I'm definitely filling in that block. I'll finish what's on my thread, on my needle. I'll fill in, I think I'm going to get like 2 lengths of 310, and I've got my cone. I wonder where my cone is. The only cone of DMC I've got is 310, which I snagged on eBay some time ago. It's only a small cone, it's not a big cone, but it solved my 310 issue for the foreseeable forever, probably. So I'll finish my 939 I've got on my needle. I'll do that little bit there, and I'll put in some, I'll try and get some of this 310 here before I pop it away again. I did put in the green in her face, which was down in this colouring here, and can you see there's quite a lot of green in her arm, and then most of this bit of her body here is green as well. Annoyingly, not a colour I had, and even more annoyingly, I didn't remember when I went to the garden centre. So she's pretty beautiful. She's pretty beautiful. I'm going to stitch in a bit. It's only 9:15. I can stitch all day. Richard will be home about 1:15. I'll leave to get my kids at about 2:30. I'm going to bring all my kids down tonight. We're going to have a nice tea. We'll see if the weather holds out. It has clouded over now. It was glorious sunshine earlier. What prompted me to get out of my bed. And then it's Air Cadets tonight, so I've got to run Flora up to Carlisle and then come back, and then I'll run back up to get her, drop Austin off with his dad, and then collect Flora and then come back down. And I'm 11/7. I'm working over the weekend. I'm 11/7 tomorrow and 6/4 on Sunday, which is good hours. It's good hours. My tomorrow shift is an extra shift, so I'll take him on the chin. And it has to be an 11/7 rather than a 12/8, because our company policy is you've got to have 11 hours between your shifts. So I've got to finish at 7 at night, and I've got to clock out on time so that I can clock in at 6 o'clock the following morning. That's company policy. So I'm fine with that, and it's good hours. I'm getting good hours. I need it at the moment. So that's it. We're good. Right, so annoyingly, as I said, I didn't remember I needed a random green, which after sorting out my DMC, I'm now confident I don't own. Before I'd be like, oh, I've got 60 places to check to see whether I have this colour. Yeah, I have my master set, I have my random bobbinated ones, and my extra skeins now. There is no others, and so I know I don't have that green. It must be like one of 3 or 4 colours I don't own. Annoyingly, I didn't write it down. I didn't check. I stopped at the garden centre the other day, and I had this with me, which had my final electricity meter reading from my other house and a little list of DMCs on it. And I went into the garden centre, which is closing its craft department completely, and I started at the top of the list. The only one there, number 9, I know I have number 9. The only DMCs that are not currently in my immediate possession are my what was it, the set they issued of the early numbers, the 1 to, I think it's like literally like 38 or something, the new numbers. I have a full set, so I know I have number 9. I just don't have it in my hand, as it were. So I went down my list, and it must have been meant to be, because every single one on my list was there, and they're here. So I treated myself to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 DMCs that I was missing. The whole of my list is there. So this is for my beautiful Aphrodite. Who I am going to start very shortly. My Bella Filipina chart that I got myself, that I'm going to stitch for my Lizzie. There she is. She is beautiful, Aphrodite. So what I'm doing is I'm putting them on a set of thread drops. These have been bobbinated, so you can see they're kinkadinky. Won't make any difference. So now all the colours I have are spares. They're extra. They're not in my master set. The 2 that I had, was it 2 or 3? Where's my little piece of cardboard gone? I've immediately lost it. Way to go, woman. oh, it's in, so I put it back in his little bag. I had 2 that I only had in my master set. I bought an extra skein of those, so I don't need to pull from my master. I'm going to have a full kit up, which for me is very unusual because I very rarely have a full kit. Usually the DMCs I'll just go, yeah, they're in my master set, I'll pull them from there. I managed to find most of them in my randoms, my random that's on a bobbin, my random it's still in a skein. I was sent these. They're beautiful thread drops. I was sent. So I'm putting them on. I'm putting them on drops because I'll use bobbins. I'll use thread drops. It makes I'm easy either way as long as I've got the threads I need to stitch pieces. So I've started putting them on the thread drops, and I will get them all when I've got it beautifully kitted. We'll start it. And I am completely and utterly using this beautiful, not the sparkly piece. I'm using the more grown up, It's a Mystery. This. I'm going to use this beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric, which is, yeah, it's that colour. That's coming out really, really nicely on the camera there. It's that colour and it's that mottled. And I love it. And it's going to be so beautiful on that. So that's the fabric I'm using. I'm putting them on, putting my threads on my thread drops currently. I've got all the spares that I didn't have. I just need to dig out number 9. It's more than likely already here. I've got very little craft stuff left at my old house. I've got very little stuff left at my old house. I just need to find my, it's like still in its, they came in a tin, but because one of my lovely subscribers sent it to me, she took it out of the tin, folded it in half to make it into a much thinner envelope. A couple of days ago I got an envelope with 2 more skeins of Down Under Blues in. I'm so sorry I forgot to send. You're more likely to, before I remember to send a thank you, you're more likely to watch the video. So they've arrived safe and sound. Thank you so much. I will send some goodies. So I've got 3 people that sent me Down Under Blues. At some point in the reasonably immediate future, you will get a little bag of goodies from me. Thank you so much for taking the time and effort. The couple of folks who sourced me some Down Under Blues and sent them, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. It is my favourite dinky dye, and now I have a little hoard of it, which I will probably use sparingly and stitch something amazing with at some point. Thank you very much. I'm very, very appreciative, and I felt very strange asking for, could somebody please source me these, but I'm very, very appreciative to have them. Thank you very much. And I forgot to say thank you. I was just heading out to work when the postman came, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're here. And then the thought was gone from my head. And this is the first time I've thought about it since, which is stupid because they're on the table there looking at me, and I really could have just sent a little note to say thank you. Anyway, I've got them and they're here, and thank you so much. And I will send by return shortly some handmade goodies, as I'm making handmade goodies all the time now because I have the brain space and the time to do it, and constantly thinking of new things. So anyone who said that they'd like to be in my Needleminder of the Month club, I'm hoping to get messages out this week about it, and I've actually got tons of ideas suddenly. It's like it's unlocked ideas to me. So yesterday I'm holding up a mutilated cutter, another mutilated cutter. This mutilated cutter is that shape, needleminder size, and that shape. Cutter means polymer clay, means I've had an idea, I didn't have a cutter, didn't want to freehand it because then they all end up a little bit, I mean everyone's different anyway, but I thought that was a good, I've got hiccups, I'm so sorry. That gives a good shape to start with for my idea. Had another idea which involves doll's house plates, which obviously is that. Isn't that just the most perfect little tiny needle minder? A little empty plate. Obviously the plate will not be empty, but another little idea there. I suddenly got like new ideas. This is really fun. And yeah, so hopefully this week you'll start to get little messages about it. Definitely going ahead with it. The thought of making multiple items, because I normally make, oh, if I'm Dragon Eyes, it's until I run out. It's maybe 10, it's maybe 12 at a maximum. It used to be 1 or 2 of each colour, or I'll make it like this. My dragons, there's no way I can make a big batch of those. They are doing their own things. I'm struggling now to force myself to make purple ones because all of a sudden granite ones have taken over. Anyway, there'll be more of those by and by. So anyway, I didn't think I had very much to say. I've been talking forever. This is a reasonably long video, but after 10 days, you kind of deserve an extra 10 minutes, don't you? Anyway, thanks for watching me, guys. I keep saying anyway, over and over again. And now I'm conscious of that. Beautiful wisteria. We'll see what it looks like next time I record. It is absolutely glorious. And yeah, it actually looks like it's going to rain. I might be able to sit in here today. That would be nice. And not boil. Okay, I'm going to get myself some breakfast, make another cup of coffee. That caffeine hit me like a ton of bricks, didn't it? It made me talk very fast. That's ideal for a Flosstube. You don't want a quiet one, do you? I'm still elbow deep sorting my stuff out. I spent a long time sharpening pencils yesterday because I found this. Now, anyone in the UK has a memory trigger for this, I am certain, and probably anyone who's been to primary school probably has a memory trigger for this. Didn't everyone's teacher in primary school have one of these clamped to their desks, and you used to put your hand up and go, "Can I sharpen my pencil?" And it was like the highlight of the day. I got this in a stationery shop, I'm going to say in Dubai, possibly. I mean, this is before the Amazon, long before the Amazon, when these sort of things, you couldn't just walk into Smith's and buy one of these. You could buy a pencil sharpener that you did with. I've had this 25, 28, not quite 30 years. And it's been missing in action, in a box. It's had some Fimo against it at some point because Fimo eats plastic. There is a sign there that a ball of Fimo has been sitting on the side of the plastic because it mobilises other plastics. Polymer clay eats other plastics. Because it's me, there is a massive coffee splodge on the back. I could wipe that off, but I spent a very entertaining random box of pens and pencils out of my house. They're now all sorted, all sharpened. If they didn't sharpen, they went in the bin bag. If the pen didn't work, it went in the bin bag. I now have working pens and pencils, all organised. Anyway, it means nothing to anyone, but this, you know, when you find something and you're so pleased you found it. I love my pencil sharpener, and it works as well as it did when I bought it. And it's one of my favourite things, my pencil sharpener. But you know what I mean? It's one of those things, I found it and I was just like thrilled because I had completely forgotten I owned it. Completely forgotten. I think I might have found that in my shed. I've got 2 boxes of stuff from my shed that I have not sorted yet. I really should do that. And there's more in my shed at home. My old house. My old house. I've started calling this house home. It feels really weird. I keep going, I live here now. It's really strange. I'm right on the cusp. I've almost let go of my other house. I've just waiting until the girls have finished their exams, and then I'll come off the electoral roll and off the council tax, which is like your residential place there, and I'll come on the same day. I'll do that. I'll transfer to the electoral roll here and the council tax here, which will be like my legal change of address. So I'm in between at the moment, but within the next month I will permanently change my address here. And then I've got to send off my driving licence. I've got to let the HMRC know. I've got to do all of the stuff, all the banking, everything that might get posted there has to be notified to post here. Wow. And then I'll be like, I am so sick of doing it. I'm just going to stitch instead. I'll try and do a few now and again. But I haven't moved house for 16 years. You know, this is huge to do it. So I think I should go and do some stitching now, guys. Thank you very much for visiting with me. I'm still collecting new subscribers, so if you're new to me, this is loosely what you get. You get a load of blether, a load of drivel, a little tiny bit of stitching. Oh, I've just stitched this, I stitched this. Look, I made this. Look, I found this thing that means nothing to anybody. Here, look, I'm going to talk about it for 20 minutes. That's what you get with me. Anyway, guys, have a wonderful week, or 10 days, or however long it's going to be till I'm back. I don't know. Looks like it's going to rain on us now, doesn't it? The sky's gone all near. There is some you can't see because the light's just hitting the light now. There is blue sky up over there. So hopefully we're going to get some blue sky. It's a really nice temperature in here at the moment. If it stays like this, I can sit with my feet up and stitch all day, except I've got tons of stuff to do. Yeah, right. I'm going to get on. I really need to tidy that table off today. I kind of have promised that I would. And I was doing so well yesterday until all of a sudden I came in here and the heat in here just made me feel sick. So that put an end to that. I've blethered so long. I'll see you soon, guys, with some stitching to show you, I'm sure. Have a good week, guys. Thank you for watching me. Bye-bye.